hyperdrive now.
L'isola, la Sardegna. Il suo calore ci ha messo alla prova. Il suo terreno non perdona. Ma noi corriamo per la sua protezione. Per combattere le fiamme. Ora una nuova sfida. Dove la terra incontra il mare. Le onde modellano le rive delle nostre spiagge. Ci tuffiamo per proteggere l'oceano. Così che l'oceano protegga noi. Chi affonderà e chi salirà in cima? Sarà l'isola a decidere.
Hello and welcome to Sardinia for round 3 of the Extreme E Championship and the NEOM Island X Prix as we race to raise awareness of some of the biggest environmental issues on the planet. I'm Jenny Gow, alongside me in the commentary box is Andrew Coley, and down in the paddock, Laura Winter is asking all the tough questions.
Of course, we also go racing for championship points, and so far this week's racing action has proven to be as hard-fought, crash-strewn and controversial as it often is. The big question is, can anybody stop RXR? They're in fine form. For the second X Prix in a row, they've set the pace for everyone to try and beat so far in qualifying. So have a look at this. Qualifying on day 1 of round 3, single car session first of all. And it was RXR kicking off where they left off. Absolutely rapid. The course had been watered, which gave them just a little bit more traction, but a brilliant time by both Johan Kristoffersson and Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski. Acciona Sainz somehow managed to repair that destroyed car in the final of round 2. The pace just wasn't there. They ended the session P8 and minus a couple of bits of bodywork. Molinaro and Scheider were looking for a top result in the Excite machine until Molinaro had this moment. Lucky not to roll the car, unlucky not to be in the top 4. Kyle Leduc and Sarah Price were in full send mode in the EV Hummer. This is Leduc on lap 2, big bounce. They couldn't quite get to the top of the table, just a few seconds shy. X44 were the last car out in the session and tried their hardest, but they couldn't match the pace of RXR either. On to Q2 and the racing portion of qualifying. On the left-hand side of your screen, Timmy Hansen just in front of Timo Scheider. Tiny bit of contact between them as Hansen comes down the hill in the Andretti United machine. The rear suspension lets go and he spins. Scheider narrowly avoiding him. Andretti United were to retire from this race, while RXR and X44 were locked in battle for the entire of the first lap. Couldn't have been closer between Kristoffersson and Loeb. Kevin Hansen was in touch for JBXE on lap 1, but an unfortunate spin for Hedda Hosas on lap 2 allowed Tamara Molinaro to pass for Excite Energy Racing. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski was in imperious form, and RXR won their race to take the top qualifier spot. On to race 2. On the right-hand side of your screen, Carlos Sainz, who'd been involved in that huge crash at the start, bullied his way through in front of Kyle Leduc. Watch this merge. Tanner Faust sideways out, just in front of Alatia. And the action continued to waypoint 3. Leduc tried to go around the outside of Carlos Sainz, while Alatia had got past Faust, but Faust passed him on the exit in the dust. Kyle Leduc chased Carlos Sainz as hard as he could on lap 1, and unfortunately it all came undone on this jump, just a little bit too sideways over the crest, and he looped the Chip Ganassi racing machine around to rejoin further down the pack. A great comeback for the Acciona Sainz squad, who win race 2, but it's RXR at the top of the table.
That was really slippery on the track, and yeah, it was very difficult to judge, so I just took it very steady and slowly to make sure to be fast when Seb used his hyperdrive at waypoint 20. So, and other than that, felt very comfortable when Michaela took over the wheel, and yeah, a win with 7 seconds, and very happy with that, so looking forward for tomorrow.
Good stuff. Always good to hear from our drivers, with Kristoffersson there in the Vodafone Business Command Centre. So this is how it looks after qualifying. You can see there it was a really tasty battle, but all the points going RXR's way once again, top qualifiers, and doing a really good job. So this is what we've got ahead of us today. Looks good, eh?
Semi-finals. Remember, the top two go through from each one. Those are looking like tough fights. And then, of course, only one goes through from the crazy race. That's a brilliant racing yet to come. Well, qualifying went the way of RXR, Jenny. There they are. Well, the lower half of them anyway. Out front of the pack here, look, on a slow walk. They can't help but be in front. They always like to win, and they've been doing a great job. Of course, if it wasn't for the penalty the other day, they'd have won that one as well. Yeah, going to be tough to beat, I think. But
beats them, they will try, that's for sure. And there are plenty of talented drivers out there who will try and raise their game today.
This is the course on which we'll be fighting for those positions. First of all, in the semi-finals and the crazy race, the final later on today. So the final is the 5-car start, because we've got 4 in the crazy race, 3 in each of those semis. There's still that merge where there was the contact between RXR and Jonas Sainz. That's going to be absolutely crucial. And then the bone shaker, which has really broken up over the course of the weekend. You'd expect that where the Continental tyres really find the grip in the dirt. Yeah, traction challenge still to be fought for, and you could improve. I think RXR are leading the way by almost 2 seconds in that, so plenty of work for others to do. But interestingly, RXR, Sainz and Chip Ganassi Racing go into the first semi-final. So can you imagine what we're about to see? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The grudge match is on. Yeah, alternate lines down at the ruins. Remember that wide entry to gate number 21, and then just the run down to the finish. Extreme is a fully electric off-road championship racing on the most challenging terrains across the globe. 10 world-class teams, each fielding 1 male and 1 female driver in gender-equal lineups. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an NEOM hyperdrive boost in every session, giving them an increase in power to provide thrilling overtakes. There are also bonus points available for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course over the weekend. Day 1 is qualifying, with a round of time trials followed by a round of head-to-head races. This decides how teams line up for Day 2's racing. Day 2 sees high-speed knockout racing with the goal of reaching the final. First up are the 2 semi-finals, where the top 2 teams progress from each. Then it's the last chance to progress in the winner-takes-all crazy race. Fans can vote for their favourite driver in grid play, with the winning team able to select their grid spot for the final first. The 5-car main event sees the teams battle it out to be crowned X-Prix winner and bag 25 championship points. The team with the most points after 5 races will be crowned Extreme E champions.
Semi-final 1 is fast approaching here on a hot final day in Sardinia, and I'm joined by Carlos Sainz. Well, up first, and you're up against Chip Ganassi and Rosberg X Racing. What do you make of that lineup?
Well, I think, you know, the winning of the last race, the leader of the championship, so it's going to be very exciting, very tight. They are incredible drivers all. And like myself, we will try the best we can.
I've seen you over at the grid this morning, checking out those grid positions, checking out the start. Your start yesterday was impeccable. For those who haven't seen, go back and watch. What are you thinking over there at the start?
Well, today is Laia starting in the semi-final. I think she will do a good start, and hopefully we can have a good race. You know, it's difficult because all the time is changing a little bit the grid, the quality of the terrain where we are starting, and of course we will see how dusty the track is.
And Laia as well, after that start yesterday, what advice have you given her to get off the line in the manner you did and get to that merge point first? No break, simple.
No, I think she already made good start the other day, so I'm confident she can make a good start.
And I'm sure you'll be keen as well to make up some points after what happened last time.
Of course, our aim is to go to the final again, to fight for winning the race, but I think our semi-final is going to be pretty tough.
It is indeed. Well, thank you so much, Carlos, for your time. Finally, physically, how are you feeling as well? Any aches or pains?
Still, of course, neck and down here a little bit of pain as well, but getting better and happy to be here. And I think it's time to turn the page and concentrate now in the last day of this long week.
Good to hear. Thank you very much to you, Carlos Sainz. Well, we've looked at that crash, haven't we, from every single angle. This is a race not to be missed. I know both teams will be keen, as Carlos just said, to turn the page, a fresh start today, but they'll be keen to make a statement as well, won't they? And they'll be keen both to get through to the final in the best possible way they can. Of course, both women of those two teams are starting first, so we will have Laia Sanz up against Michaela Allen-Kotulinski. Michaela's been on absolute fire, hasn't she? And then Carlos and Johan will get into that car after that. We're just heading up now to the RXR garage. We're going to have a chat with Johan, of course. This is a race not to be missed. It's going to be a spicy semi-final one, as I'm going to head through here to find Johan Kristoffersson, and he's just over here. Johan, bringing you in if I can. A big yawn there. Morning. Have you had your coffee yet?
Yeah, I had, yeah.
Good stuff. Up against Chip Ganassi and Acciona Sainz. What's the mindset for you with that lineup?
Yeah, let's see. Michaela starts, so I have full confidence that she will do the best out of it. It's a tricky start line, but the different teams have chosen the difference between 1 and 2 as their priority. X44 went for 2, we went for 1, so it's going to be exciting to see which one did the correct choice.
And very quickly, just a word on the car. You broke curfew last night, allowed by the stewards for repairs. What happened there?
No, we had to check something which was asked by the stewards or the scrutineers. So then when we opened it, we saw there was some damage on a few parts. So in one way, it was pretty lucky that we got to check that. So yeah, now they've changed it and everything is all right. It was a big job for the mechanics. They were here until 2 last night. So long night, but yeah, now hopefully we are ready for go for final.
Great stuff. Thank you very much to you, Johan. Well, strap yourselves in. This is a race not to be missed. It's semi-final 1.
So we're taking a look back at the incident between RXR and Sainz in the final during the week. Of course, it was round 2. And that's the merge. So if you come from the right-hand side of the grid, there's the rear shot, gives you a good idea of the speed they're going at. But if you look as well, both cars are facing forward. Watch for Carlos. Can't see Johan at all. And if we see Johan's on board, I don't know if we will or not. Here's Johan's. Look at him. He's sideways in the corner. You don't see Sainz at all until the impact. They have a little peripheral vision. Hands devices, wings on the sides of the chairs, window nets. It is not easy.
But it's going to be interesting to see them go off right next to each other in this next round. And it won't be easy because Chip Ganassi are going to be right alongside them. And you heard them talking about which bays they want to start in. And there is a difference of opinion with regards to which one is better. RXR have gone and picked the middle one. X44 in the next round have picked the have picked the one on the left. X44 have picked the middle one.
Yeah, exactly. So Johan said it, didn't he? We'll have to see which one's best. You can't really tell. There's been a bunch of starts in between. You know, the dirt will have been watered a little bit to keep down the dust. You know, how much wheel spin you get. Is your bit a bit wetter or a bit drier? So as Johan says, we'll have to see. But it is the majority of the starters this time are female. We've only got Lance Woolridge taking the start because that, of course, was set way back in Q1. They alternate who takes the starts. So it isn't Sainz versus Kristoffersson. It's Sanz versus Allen-Kotulinski. But both teams will be a little bit freaking out about, you know, that run down to the first corner.
Well, let's go down to the Vodafone Business Command Centre and get us ready for the start of this first semi-final.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. Semi-final 1 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
We're ready to go racing then. You can see Carlos Sainz
Okay,
watching on.
1 minute.
1 minute to go. We have Leduc in there and Christopherson. That is the team everybody will try and beat. Nico Rosberg there this weekend watching on.
I do like the command centre, you know, where they're all in there. You got Sainz and Christopherson a few feet apart. Yeah, there was the disagreement. There's what I'm talking about with the wings on the seat, Jenny. You saw there from Laia Sanz from the onboard. Here again, look where they are for Sarah Price. It is exactly in line with her eye line. When people say you can see it out the side of your eye, that's just not the case.
No, it actually reminds me of my child's car seat.
Yes.
She can see very little out the
kids
car
all
as
have
well.
Racing seats, way cooler than us.
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 cars, we are almost ready to go.
15 seconds.
This is semi-final 1. It is Rosberg X Racing on the right of your screen. Sands in the middle, and then to the left, Chip Ganassi Racing. Who will come out on top? 2 cars go through. Which will they be? Green light, and we are racing in Sardinia. You can see the 2 cars, and Rosberg X Racing have got a great start. Sainz just clips in behind that car to the right. The Chip Ganassi Racing is also going on. What line are they going to take, and where is the rejoin going to happen? But you can just see Arlen Kotlinski really aggressive off the start. Laia Sanz tucking in behind just to try and get on top of them. This is the rejoin section, can be so perilous, but look at that, just tucks in 3rd spot. So you're 1, 2, 3, RXR, followed by Acciona Soaps, followed by the Chip Ganassi Hummer Racing team. And they have gone for different lines here. What's going to happen? Can Laia Sanz keep up this pace, or is Price going to overtake her? Arlen Kotlinski out in front, then Laia Sanz drops in behind, and we have Price as the 3rd spot, but Sanz goes a little wide and gives the opportunity. Oh, there's contact between the 2 of them. Can Price get through? It's aggressive on her. She goes out wide, but she's done it.
Yeah, Price up a place there, tidily done. That outside line on the run down to waypoint 3 is really bumpy now, and although it gives you a better entry, off goes Sarah Price on the left. I reckon that's damage on the car from that contact. Might be wrong, but she went flying off to the left-hand side of the track when she jumped on the brakes. You can see the dust in the background from where she's gone round. So Sanz is up into P2 for Acciona Sainz. The RXR car leads with Arlen Kotlinski, and there is Sarah Price in the undergrowth. Deep breath for her. Disappointment for Kyle Leduc. Can't hear what Sainz and Leduc are saying to each other, but basically, Jenny, that was going to put 2 cars straight through to the semi-final. A bit of a shame in terms of racing action, and disappointing, of course, for Chip Ganassi Racing. The winners of round 2 are not going to make it through to the final.
Yeah, they'll be absolutely gutted, and it gives these guys a really clear shot at potentially trying to get a better traction challenge time, because they know they can get through in this. Laia Sanz, the car still looking a little bit shaky after that contact. A lot of bodywork. You can see where the contact was. Rear left is exposed a little bit, so Laia just has to get this car round now, and she will do that, I think. Needs to maybe calm. Just a little calm.
Just chill. The thing is, you're through. What you don't want is if you there's Sarah Price. She's okay. We've seen that already. They do tell the drivers, if you're wondering, the driver's briefing says if you have an incident, please stay in the car. She's off the racing line. They may stick a yellow zone there where we can slow the cars down between 2 waypoints, but if she's a long way off the side of the track, either way, it's not going to make any odds to this. But getting back to what you suggested, Jenny, yes, Laia and Carlos, if they want, can go. We don't know what the condition of the car is. You don't want it going off, you know, at super high speed. She's not lifted so far. She's going for it, but the full commitment isn't necessary. They've got a place in the final. Don't give the team too much more work.
Arlen Kotlinski is absolutely going for it. So impressive in the traction challenge. Set the 4th fastest time for anybody out there, and she has proven herself this week, I think, to be really in the mix as one of the best drivers on this course.
Yes, she is. She's doing what Molly Taylor did last year with RXR, isn't she? There was a point where the driver for RXR was just slightly, so that's the left and the right hand line. Gate 21, you could see where Arlen Kotlinski took the wide line. That's why the dust was on the right from the onboard, whereas Laia Sanz took the inside line, so not quite so much exit speed. But yeah, she's the class of the field at the minute, Jenny. P4. She was ahead of Sebastian Loeb in that traction challenge section. Oh, Sarah Price has got going. So Sarah Price has got going. This is the right decision just in case something happens to one of the other cars.
Oh dear, crabbing all the way along, so something's broken in the steering column. You can just see the front right tyres are facing in the wrong direction.
Same as Hansen. If you look, one of the rear wheels is facing in at 45 degrees, maybe damage at the front as well, but probably she's had a radio call and said get going in case something happens. So ideally, probably should have got going a little bit earlier than that to be closer. But I think it's unlikely now that there's going to be an issue for Sainz and Sands.
Well, we saw Andretti United, didn't we, have that problem yesterday, and it took forever to get the cars back. Incident involving cars 99 and 55 is under investigation. So that's your GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing team under investigation, as is the Acciona Sainz team. We'll see what the stewards have said. They've been busy this weekend.
I'm pretty sure that unfortunately that'll be a penalty for 99 if they do. On the contact between them, I think Sarah was the car behind, was she? Trying to make the pass, in which case potentially it'll go that way. Well, I'm basing that on the Timo Scheider-Timmy Hansen incident, which I didn't think was that harsh, but the stewards whacked a 30-second penalty on it, Jenny.
Is it slightly different because they were more alongside each other than front to back?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, you need to compare. I think Price was we're going to have another look in a minute anyway. So it's in jumps Sainz. Go on, Carlos. He's not that sore, is he?
Well, Laia did a great job of springboarding out of that. Now she goes around the other side to help with belts, and that seems to be a tactic that a lot of the teams are taking. Those lap belts quite tricky to get round. There's Arlen Kotelinski with her inset, because the size difference between these two drivers is quite large.
Yeah, Kristoffersson is a giant. I'm tall and I look up to him. I look up to him in many ways. He's a great bloke and a brilliant athlete. Okay, here is Sarah Price in the right, in the rear, in the white car, the number 99 EV Chip Ganassi Racing. There's no contact here. On the exit, I don't know what happens to Laia Sainz. She runs deep, and Sarah, I don't know. Yeah, but the trouble is she's the car, but I reckon there was slightly more room to the left, so maybe Sarah could have given the pass a bit more room. On the other hand, of course, Laia Sainz is also pulling back into the... You can see she goes off. Yeah, the suspension's broken in the contact. But you can see Laia Sainz is moving back in, Jenny, from where she's run wide. So I don't think the investigation is going to make any difference, because at the minute, Chip Ganassi Racing are 3 minutes back.
Yeah, so unfortunately it's not going to affect this running. It just means that they might have a little bit more work to do on the Acciona Sainz car when it goes through towards the final, but they've done so much work on that car already. It's fairly insignificant, isn't it?
Between friends.
So El Matador, Carlos Sainz behind the wheel, will try and chase down Kristoffersson. Let's see what they can do. This should be a really fun contest with the two of them basically out there doing time trials. Continental Traction Challenge time to beat is Kristoffersson's 34.008 is the fastest time through that section.
Now, it doesn't look to me like there's anything wrong with the Sainz machine, because Carlos is properly going for it. Johan's got an 11-second gap, so I don't think he'll close that down, but he could have a crack at the Traction Challenge. But as you mentioned earlier, Jenny, really, it's Arlen Kotelinski that is the key to that. Oh, what is it, 1.8 seconds, did you say, between them and the next team back?
Yep.
And Arlen Kotelinski, if you think Johan is the fastest through there, I believe, and Arlen Kotelinski is the 4th fastest, you had those 2 times up, you know, it's unbeatable. The others have got to get closer to Arlen Kotelinski.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how track conditions are favouring out there, because the time that Arlen Kotelinski set in Sector 2 was a 36.8, and her fastest yesterday was a 34.7. So different conditions, racing conditions rather than qualifying conditions. It's a different focus today for many of them, but this is the Continental Traction Challenge.
I haven't heard anyone use their Innova hyperdrive so far. It doesn't mean it hasn't happened. We don't always get the data. It depends where the cars are on course, signal, etc. But we haven't seen them using it through here, and we saw everybody using it through here.
Yeah, that front left bodywork just keeps on getting hit on that Sainz car. I don't know how many pieces they've reattached to it, but I think that's 3 times now that they've lost the front left bodywork.
Yes, agreed. There can't be much red body. Well, they'll wrap it, but there won't be much left. Was that the Chip Ganassi car parked up again? I don't know if they're still going. Yes, it was. So Sarah Price, I think, yes, on the bottom right on your map, you can see down there the Hummer EV is parked in the Traction Challenge. So they got it going, but they've parked it again. They've been lapped now, and the Traction Challenge, Jenny, I was going to say, is getting a bit wider, where the drivers are just using more and more space. In theory, there's a quick time in there, but as you've said, in racing conditions, it's going to be tough.
Certainly will be. And I think with so many of the wheels facing in the wrong direction for Sarah Price, there was little point in getting the car back, to be totally honest. They're out of this. That's their running done, really, for the rest of the weekend.
The only thing that would have worked in their favour is if Acciona Sainz had a problem from the contact as well and gone out, then that Carlos is using it quite early, isn't he? In a hyperdrive for him. And Sarah's going again. Go on, Sarah, there's that rear right.
She pulled over to let everybody go past her, potentially, so that it was safe for them to go through, no yellow flag, and now she's rejoined and got the car going again to try and bring it home. So it is Kristoffersson who uses his hyperdrive right now to get a little bit more pace around the... Is this the twirly-whirly bit?
No, well,
that's not, is it? This is the washboard.
Look at how quickly the wheels and the new Fox suspension reacts to that. The cars are so much better with the modifications. Nico Rosberg back left, looking on Arlen Kotlinski, hasn't even taken her lid off. Kristoffersson coming round the right-hander. This is an easy win in semi-final number 1. Top qualifiers currently hold on to the Continental Traction Challenge. They win semi-1, surely they're favourites for this event, but that start, we know anything can happen later on today. Acciona Sainz will come down now. Carlos Sainz going to come through in P2. They book a spot in the final. So it is game on between Sainz and Kristoffersson later on today.
Well, that gives you a good example of what to expect as we go through the day. Of course, it's the first of the semi-finals, another semi-final to come, and the crazy race, and then the final. But look at that. Disappointment once again for Chip Ganassi Racing, our winners last time out when we raced midweek, and you can just see that car does not look happy in the slightest. And I feel for Sarah because she saw an opportunity. She went for it.
You've got to go, yeah.
They've also got waypoint 5 they knocked down as well, or missed waypoint 5 when they went off and then rejoined. So Carla Duke not getting to go out there and have much fun, but they've got good points from the previous event. They were 13 points behind RXR, so that's going to stretch out a little bit more, unfortunately. But Sainz will close the gap.
Yeah, but they were the closest team, and to have them out gives RXR a big advantage. Well, talking of RXR, here's one of their team members, Michaela Arlen Kotlinski. It still looks hot in that command centre, but you guys, more importantly, are on fire on the timesheets. You've won qualifying, you've won semi-final 1, you lead the Continental Traction Challenge. You must be feeling confident.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also the guys, we found a bit of a failure on the car, so they've been working all night really to put it back together, and as you can see, it was working perfectly. So, I mean, big thanks to those guys. And then we were a bit unsure about the starting because everybody else chose grid slot number 2, but yeah, we had a good start. Took the semi-final now, so really looking forward to the final.
Michaela, I think everybody was really impressed with your traction challenge time. The 4th fastest of anyone, just ahead of Sebastian Loeb. Just tell me, how are you developing as a driver? Because you are so impressive right now.
Thank you so much for that. No, I mean, I feel very comfortable with the team, and Johan and I are constantly working on all the small details and trying to find small parts everywhere, and also the car feels so good to drive that I can really place it wherever I want to place it. And, you know, I just feel relaxed and enjoying myself, and that's when I'm having the best racing time.
Tell you what, it shows. So well done. Go out there and see what you can do in the final. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Great stuff from Michaela. They're just brilliant, aren't they? Now, unfortunately, the other end, of course, of the table here was Chip Ganassi Racing, and Laura Winter is with Kyle the Duke.
Kyle, disappointment again for Chip Ganassi. It's been a roller coaster week here in Sardinia. Talk me through how you saw that collision between Sarah and Laia.
I mean, Sarah fell in line behind them on the merge there, which was smart, and then she took a different lane than Laia. And got up to the corner first, next to each other, and she had a good run coming out, and she was ahead of her. So that's the only part in question was, you know, Sarah was ahead of her, and I don't know if one held their line more than the other, but the contact was looked like our rear tire climbing up Sainz's front. So I don't know that it's a big deal or a racing deal, but it's just either way, it's a bummer to see any of these cars sitting on the sideline. So. Just a bummer. I bent that same link yesterday on the other side from contact with Nasser on the start, and then the right side took fault today. So she tried to limp it around in case one of the other cars was broken or disabled, so we were able to get by and try to slide into this main event, but looks like a bit unlucky, and looks like we end up 6th, it looks like.
Yeah, the car's taken a bit of a battering this week, hasn't it? And you guys as well, obviously, it's been up and down. I guess frustration for you, you couldn't even get out there today to contest it.
Yeah, I know. There's shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, there's a lot of things we could have and done different, but it's racing. You never know how that start's going to go. But, you know, hats off to the whole Chip Ganassi racing crew. You know, they've worked their tail off to swap the car from one race to the other. And, you know, all of our families back home and all that stuff. We love you, missed you guys. And we tried. We gave it our all, but a little short today.
You're still event winners coming out of this week in Sardinia. You won round 2, and that will stay there. Thanks very much, Carl.
Yeah, if you follow Kyle on Instagram, he's posting a couple of things about his kids back home. You've got to remember this is a long visit for these guys. They've been here more than a week, you know, looking at 10 days away from home, and they're a long way away from home. They missed Independence Day as well, didn't they? So, yeah, fair play. So, RXR is, you got the rear view on the left-hand side of your screen. You've got the front view from Science's, Acciona Science's car on the right.
Yeah, just look at them coming down. This is towards turn 3, so where they come in, you can see RXR in the lead, but behind them, you can see the contact is just about to happen. So Price will come down on the inside.
They're good on the way into turn 3. Now, this is where I think Kyle Leduc thought the contact might have been. So he says Sarah's ahead. So here, what Sarah might have done is gone deep on the brakes and just run. Laya was just in front. Here's the pass now.
Fair to say Science can't see anything at this moment in time. There's the contact that happens, and you can see their steering brakes, and she shoots off towards the right. Really difficult to tell from those images, but
Sarah was slightly behind, but actually, Jenny, Laya Sands moves back because Sands had run wide, so Sands is moving back onto the line, and Sarah's there. I thought Sarah could maybe have been a bit off to the left, but I'm not sure. You know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? They're pushing as hard as they can. It's dusty. They're side by side, bit of contact, and the suspension broke. Kyle said, didn't he, broke it? We saw Timmy's break yesterday.
You said, didn't you, when those tyres come so close to each other that it kind of over-rotates the other tyre, then unfortunately that's one of the trip-up issues, isn't it?
There's so much momentum in them. Think about the weight of it. It's 30+ kilos for, you know, a Continental tyre. They're made out of recycled materials. They've got amazing grip. But if you tyre on tyre, same as in anything, F1, all the rest of it, when the tyres come into contact, you can launch the other car. There's a lot of energy. Kristoffersson and Arlen Kotlinski, oh, they're very pleased, aren't they?
Yeah, the whole team worked really hard to 2 o'clock in the morning to try and get that car fixed again. They did it well. And now they are through and towards the final. So Extreme's dedication to helping combat the climate crisis goes beyond the course and continues well after the race finish. In each of the locations we visit, the championship runs a series of legacy projects which aim to provide positive long-term support relating to specific local needs. This is what the teams have been doing this week in Sardinia.
Globally, seagrass beds are disappearing really rapidly. So if we're not able to curb this loss of our seagrass beds, we're looking at multiple impacts. They provide mitigation from storm energy, and this is important because it means that our coastal areas are not damaged by storms that they would be if there was no seagrass bed there. They provide nurseries for some of our fisheries, so that's important for food security. And also they ensure that some of the carbon that we're creating with our human activities from the atmosphere are pulled down into the ocean for long-term storage.
In order to fight the seagrass loss, Extreme are replanting Posidonia oceanica, a seagrass that is endemic to the Mediterranean. Some of the Extreme drivers took the opportunity to visit the project for themselves.
We are here in Sardinia in the project of legacy program for Extreme.
And we are going to learn how seagrass is important for the ocean and how Metsi and Extreme are working together to replant some seagrass for the future.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here with you. I'm Francesca Frau from Metsi Foundation. The Blue Carbon project is related to restoration of Posidonia oceanica meadows in a total area of 500 meters of damaged Posidonia oceanica, and we restore with 80,000 cuttings, new plants that we can put on the seabed.
The drivers then headed out to the planting areas to take a close-up view of the seagrass.
It was great to jump in the water here and understanding what is the importance of the seagrass here, and to get to see with your own eyes is always super interesting. It's so unique to a championship in motorsport to have these legacy programs, and it's a project for a bigger picture, and it's just great to come here to check how it's going, to experience the legacy and how it's moving forward year by year.
It's part of the magic of this championship. I think it's one of the best things. It's not only about racing, it's about taking care about our planet, so this is something special. It's a nice opportunity for us to learn about the importance of replanting this type of plants in the sea.
And I think also the role of Extreme is to communicate what we see and this kind of problem to everybody, that everybody is conscious of what happens and that we can all find some solution to improve that.
So let's have a look at the highlights then from that race and a replay of the start. You can see Acciona Science were right up against RXR. First of all, the Chip Ganassi Hummer team going wide and taking that long line to the right.
Yeah, that alternate line, when you look at it, Jenny, it looks like you're never going to get there, does it? And then look at the merge right on the tail. So it does work, but that merge is narrow.
Yeah, this the dash down, and the alternate line once again from the Acciona Science team this time. Laia Sanz taking a really rough ride on that car as well, but taking the outside line, which sets her up for a collision course with Price as they come round the corner.
I was hoping, looking at that, I was thinking Price might be nearer on the brakes. She's not, and there is the contact, look, and it's her rear right. Watch for it braking. So it goes, oh, where is it?
It's already done.
Yeah, there, hang on, you'll see it go there, and then off to the left hand. Here it is on board. So look, it's already, there it is, yeah, oh wow, and off. She did get launched, didn't she, into those bushes.
This course likes to launch people into bushes. I think we can determine that from this week and also from the last time we were here in Sardinia. It is aggressive, it's rugged terrain, it's rutted, wildfires and all of the seagrass issues being addressed, but on-track action, spectacular, but it's really easy to trip up.
It is, yeah, it is. They're making a decent catch fence, to be fair, aren't they? There's a big difference between bushes and trees. That's what's nice about this, is the drivers can commit big time, because if you go off into the bushes, it'll catch you. You know, it's the rocks that stop you. We saw last year Gutierrez, if you remember, off into the bushes in the middle of the merge section and then found the biggest rock ever and came to a very quick stop.
So this is the switch zone, which is going to be all important later on when we go to the final, because we've seen people tripping up over this. Through the course of this event, you've got to nail it, and it looked like RXR did just that.
Yeah, I was just looking at how calm it was. Arlene Kotlinski, as she's climbing out the door, she's barely out of her seat when the technician is pulling the insert out from the right-hand side. You practice that, Jenny, and I think some of the teams need to practice it a little bit more.
Slick.
Yeah, really slick. Everything, it's the multiple addition of many tiny little things, isn't it, which makes the difference. That's what Arlen Kotlinski was alluding to in her interview. Me and Johan are looking at all of the small details all of the while. It's every corner, every onboard, where can we go quicker and nick a little bit of time.
Yeah, I found it interesting actually listening to Arlen Kotlinski, her speaking about how much work the whole team are putting into it, the fact that they were up late last night, and that was a chance thing really. The scrutineers wanted to look at something, they had a look, and then they found damage. So fortuitous, I think, for them, because that could have collapsed or broken during this session.
Yeah, they asked for an extension, didn't they, to midnight, and then they said, actually, you know what, now we've had a look inside the transmission, we're going to need another couple of hours. Job done, car re-prepared, and a win in semi-final number 1 for RXR.
Either. NEOM McLaren taking on X44, taking on Abt Cupra, and Cristina Gutierrez joins me now. You guys have got to get your championship back on track, haven't you, after missing the final last time out?
Yeah, we can wait for the semi-final because last time we don't have a little good luck. So I can't wait to go to the start line and to try to go to the final.
And in the qualifying, you got a penalty for the switch zone, 0.35 seconds early. I'm sure you've learned from that one.
Yeah, of course. It's less than 1 second. It's, I think, 0.3 seconds before, so it's a little before. I learned a lot about this, so for this time I wait a little bit more.
Just a fraction. The safety net system caused some bother for you guys in round 2. Have you found a solution for that one?
I don't know. At the moment, the track is the same than in the other races, so we need to take care about everyone. We know the problem in the first flag, so we take care about us. So I hope the safety is the first option for us.
You guys have got pace. RXR have blistering pace, and Michaela specifically is absolutely flying at the moment. What do you put that down to, and how do you think you can close that gap?
Yeah, in the races it's a little bit different because depends on the start, depends on the position in the race. It's different that taking times, good times. So we try to fight from the beginning and try to overtake if it's possible, because sometimes the dash is not good also. So we try to do our best.
Thank you very much. Best of luck to you. And we're going to run. We've not got much time before semi-final 2. And we're just going to, hopefully get this man out of the way. There we go. We're going to head down to Nasser Al-Attiyah, who is in the Abt Cupra tent, of course, the competitor for X44 coming into this second semi-final. I'm going to sneak around the back of the car and hopefully find Nasser. Nasser, hello, good morning. Issues for you last time out in the switch. Didn't make the final. I'm sure you've learned the lessons from that, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. I think now we need to really be strong, in semi-final, because our dream to be in the final. It's look the race 3. It's really good for us because we learn a lot from the race 2, and we'll see now. Yuta, she will start, and it's good. It's because it's with a female, and I think she need to really attack and to give me the cars at least in good position, and then I can handle all the way.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Thank you very much to you, Nasser.
You so much.
Best of luck. Well, there we go. This is going to be another thrilling semi-final ahead of course, the final here at the Island X Prix. We can't wait to see. Let's see.
Well, this just a moment ago. No hard feelings, it seems like, this morning. Christopherson and Sainz, just a little thumbs up there. Very little.
Yes.
That after their collision yesterday, but it seems like both of them going through to the final. They're all right.
It's an olive branch, isn't it? They're going to continue racing together. They're both legends of motorsport. We've got some more legends coming up in this one as well.
Maybe it was just an olive rather than a branch.
Wow.
So it's McLaren X44 and Abt Cupra going up against each other. Bird's eye view there, and we're bringing you a bird's eye view into wherever you are today. Let us know where you're watching. #ExtremeE. We'll try and give you some shout outs today, but there's some beautiful, beautiful birds flying around, just taking it all in. They love a bit of ExtremeE.
They've got as good a view as our drones, haven't they? Talking of which, here is one, I think. Oh, maybe not. No, that's the long shot of the start. Here they are on the grid from right to left. McLaren in the middle, X44, and on this side, Abt Cupra. All the female drivers in again. It's only Lance Woolridge who's taking the start for Veloce this time.
Attention all teams, this is race
Okay, everybody,
control.
3 minutes.
Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. Qualifying round 2 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Okay, we are good to go. So it's McLaren X44 and the Abt Cupra team. They are lining up. Far right, it's McLaren. In the middle, it's X44, and to the left, it's the Abt Cupra. And you heard Al-Attiyah earlier on saying that it was aggression needed from Yuta. Has to go in here hard. All three of them need to attack. Who's the most likely to do that, Andrew?
For me, Christina and Emma, obviously they're side by side. I think the thing is about who's likely, it's also who's got to. So Yuta's going to take that right-hand line. That's an absolute given. You've got two cars on the left. She's too far away. By the time she gets over there, she'd be behind them. So unless she wants to avoid the merge, Yuta will take the line that Sarah Price took, and she's then got to outpace them down to the merge. You just got to hope, obviously, they don't end up there at exactly the same time like Sainz and RXR did. The other side of the grid, yeah, it's between Emma Gilmore and Gutierrez. We didn't see anyone use the hyperdrive off the start in the first semi, and we did see it yesterday in the heat races. 3 of the guys used it. We heard dung, 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 and they were all off like a rocket with the Anoa hyperdrive down towards the merge. That one worked in the favour of Sainz, if I remember correctly. So there's tactics in this, there's traction off the line. It was settled in the last race. Before they even reached those bushes on the right, RXR were in front.
I think, oh, look at this, good work.
Yes, get yourself fired up, come on.
I think Gilmore is going to go aggressive on this. If you look at the way the McLaren is set up, slightly pointing in. So X44 got first choice. They chose the middle lane. They think that is the way to go. Gilmore looks relaxed now, but in a moment she won't. She will have to go full out against Gutierrez to see who can get into that first little bit of narrow grass first, because you want to be in the lead there.
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Now they reach down. Settings on the dash, the marshal in front gives them the 1 minute. They'll all give them a little nod, and you see the grid gets cleared. Now your heart rate starts to come up.
Mine is.
Yeah.
I'm not even in the car.
There you go. Watch for Emma looking out the front as your man walks across. There we go. Thumbs up. So that's just to check that each driver is good to go.
So the tracks are set. They know where they need to go. You'll probably see Jutta peel off to the right, the other two off to the left.
30 seconds.
How aggressive will they afford to be? What will they do? Gilmore, Gutierrez, Kleinschmidt.
Here we go. Tension builds then to semi-final number 2. The top 2 will go through from this. Jutta Kleinschmidt going to take that right line for Abt Cupra, but it's X44 versus McLaren on the inside line. Who's going to get the best grip off the line? Look for the green light just above the front corner of the McLaren. Oh, wheel spin for Gutierrez, and the X44 moves across to the McLaren. They don't want contact and they can avoid it. Emma Gilmore just in front. They're side by side coming down to the narrow bit. Gilmore backs out. Right thing to do. You don't want contact. This is a long race. Look on the left-hand side of your screen now. Can the Abt Cupra machine of Jutta Kleinschmidt get to the merge before the McLaren or even before the X44? Going to be close. She might slot in between. Oh, she just does. She just gets in front of Emma Gilmore. I think Gilmore may be backed off to avoid it. Sideways there for the Abt Cupra. Gilmore. I thought she was going to take the right-hand line. Nowhere to go there. Just a little bit too narrow. So the leader then is X44, Cristina Gutierrez. Now down the right-hand side comes Gilmore. Bouncing the McLaren along. She's going to try and get the cut back up the inside. Watch for Kleinschmidt running wide. Good job by Gilmore. Gets on the handbrake. Can't quite find enough traction.
Fantastic start to this race. So Gutierrez out in front, and now it's a case of hunting her down. Jutta Kleinschmidt has that job to do first and foremost. Emma Gilmore at the back there. Visibility poor. You can see that number 58, NEOM McLaren, struggling there. Windscreen wipers on, maybe. That would help, but in the duel of this, right in the heat of it, very difficult to do. So Gilmore closing now on the Abt Cupra car. Can she find a way through here?
She wants to, doesn't she? The 3 drivers that are coming up next are so equally matched on pace. Tanner Faust, Nasser Al-Attiyah and Sebastian Loeb. Gutierrez at the minute looks to be giving Loeb an advantage on that second lap. At the least, Gilmore needs to hang on to the back of that Abt Cupra to make sure that Tanner is close behind, and that's how close it is between them.
Wow, that was a bit of over-rotation from Kleinschmidt, and Emma had nowhere to go. Gilmore couldn't get past, had to slam on the brakes just to stop the collision. Did really good job of avoiding contact, but she is all over the back of Jutta Kleinschmidt. She wants through.
I think Gilmore's got a little bit more pace here, Jenny, but she's got to find somewhere that's wide enough to do it. We saw what happened when Sarah Price came together with Laia Sanz. It was a tiny contact and still damage on the car. Gilmore loses a little bit of time through the water splash. I reckon she'll maybe save that, a hyperdrive for later in the lap. There is the alternate line, remember, on the run to gate 21. And so far, Kleinschmidt's been quite defensive in her driving. If she took the inside line, Gilmore could maybe edge her on the exit there.
Yeah, I think they took the inside line, didn't they, on the qualifying heats. So it'll be interesting to see, as you say, if they've watched the other drivers and seen that there's an opportunity there for them or not.
Left-hand line out of that second, what was a water splash, is definitely smoother now, Jenny. If they're staying left, look, Gilmore's on the right, and you can see the bumps are much bigger. Left-hand side, Gutierrez just is a little bit smoother on the exit.
Unfortunately, you just want to be out of that dust trail, don't you? So you're kind of forced into taking the alternate line potentially out of there, but they'll come up to this section, and this the run up to turn 21, that's where expecting the Anoa hyperdrive to come into full force, and maybe Gilmore can find a way around a little bit wider, as you say.
Gilmore's way faster in the twisty stuff. She's just gained 3-4 seconds there. She was a long way back in the Continental Traction Challenge. Emma Gilmore closing that gap now on Kleinschmidt. This is where it gets a bit wider. So we ride on board with the Abt Cupra, looking back at Gilmore. Which way is the Abt Cupra going to go? Is it going to stay inside line or not? This is out front with X44, but the bounce behind them. This is up at gate 23. That's more like it. Gilmore had a crack at gate 21. I knew she would.
She did, but she's lost out, I think. She just over-rotated a little bit, lost out to Kleinschmidt. Kleinschmidt, very defensive, managed to hold on to that place, so it remains X44, Abt Cupra and NEOM McLaren coming down towards the switch zone, but Emma Gilmore all over the back of Jutta Kleinschmidt. She'll have to look for another opportunity.
Yeah, she was frustrated on board there, Jenny. You could see afterwards, using the handbrake, the car got out of shape. She took that line, I think, maybe got past, and then Abt Cupra got past on the exit. It might be actually, I reckon Abt Cupra took the wide line, and Gilmore potentially went deep on the brakes, and Abt Cupra underneath, but I'm sure we'll find a replay of it. Look how close they are. Going to be ultra close for this second lap between Faust and Alatia. But at the minute, X44 coming in with a 10-second advantage. That's great for Loeb.
Yeah, Loeb will be very happy. They've got to make sure there's no infringements when they get to the switch zone. And look, Emma Gilmore not taking it as late on the brakes as other people could have done. She's come to a full stop there. I wonder if she's got an issue. She restarts it, but that's less than ideal. They're into a 30-kilometre-an-hour zone now, so they have to come into their switch zone. And we've seen that X44 car come in and park it slightly on the outward-facing trajectory so they can get a quicker away. Let's see if they do that this time out.
Do you remember yesterday, Jenny? I think it was X44 who left 0.43 of a second early, didn't they? And then they got a penalty. It's 15 seconds for leaving early, plus any advantage gained. So the penalty was 15.43 seconds. 0.43, it's tiny, but they've probably signalled early, thinking it would take a moment or two to hit the button, and the drivers have been so quick they've gone under. What does Gilmore say to Faust?
We're not going to find out. No. Reactions too fast sometimes for a driver, unfortunately. So X44 will go out with an almost 10-second gap. And then a further 2.5 seconds between Kleinschmidt and Gilmore when they came in. Interesting what McLaren do with their technician. He runs around the car and checks all 4 corners. So Emma Gilmore seems is dealing with Tanner's belts. You can see her there at the side of the car. Bucket of water over the Apt Cupra car, so they've got better visibility, and Loeb takes to the wheel. First out for X44, as you can see Gilmore in the background just running away, leaving Faust to it. Is their system okay, though? I worry about that after that little hiccup coming into the switch zone. They're away. Yeah, pretty close release between them. It's very similar distance, isn't it, that it was on the way in, so it looks like all the teams have got that right. So Faust yesterday, do you remember how hard Alatia attacked? He was on an absolute mission, wasn't he? And his split times was super close to Christopherson's. So we know he's got ultimate pace. Obviously, we know Loeb has too, but Faust too has been quick. But look at the difference when you exit the switch zone. Just it's 4, 5 seconds, 7 seconds already. I think something's up with that McLaren. Faust was very slow coming out of that, and it's just unusual to lose that much time coming out of switch. So let's see what happens. But at the moment, this is Alatia trying to close down Loeb, who's out the front and getting a little bit out of shape there for Tanner Faust. Yeah, indeed. That's that bumpy section, is it? They jump over that little rivulet through there. Coming up now into the braking zone from waypoint 3. This is the left-hander. Look how tight it is from up in the air. It looks very different, doesn't it, from on board. Loeb way out in front. The gap was way out in front. The gap was 10. It's down to 5 already. So Alatia is chasing down Loeb. That was 10 seconds, wasn't it? I'm not wrong on the way in. It was 10 seconds between X44 and Apt Cupra. Look, you can see visibly Alatia is on an absolute mission. And I wonder if Loeb doesn't really realise just how close he is, because visibility is quite tough. You can't be looking around everywhere and daydreaming. You've got to get on with this, and Loeb is going to have to get the hurry up. They're going to need to get on the radio to him, aren't they, and say, listen, this isn't over. He's right there. He's half the gap inside 5 waypoints, and there's about 30 of them out there. So Alatia trying very hard indeed. He's used, don't forget, to driving in dusty conditions from many attempts at the Dakar. That will hold no fear for him whatsoever. On board now with Alatia, comes down to the water splash. You can see his prey in front of him now. Loeb uses the hyperdrive, the Anoa hyperdrive on the exit. Is Alatia going to do the same thing? I think he'll use it later on. I've got a feeling he'll use it when he can attack a little bit more, when he's a little bit closer, and just see if he can make the most of that. So Faust trying to catch, but now a chunky distance behind at the moment. 10 seconds behind Alatia. Yeah, they are. They're 10 seconds back. It was at 7 at one point. Interestingly, Faust in the NEOM McLaren was heading along the same trajectory as Alatia. You know, the gaps to Loeb had come down. The gap between them was the same. But it is now a couple of seconds more between the Apt Cupra and the NEOM McLaren. So 4 seconds. Alatia is closing down on the 9-time World Rally Champion Sebastian Loeb. Now, Loeb, of course, can afford to take less risks out front. There's Gutierrez in the command centre looking on. Now Loeb starts to use the left foot on the brake and move the car around a bit more. Look at Alatia still 3.82, another 2/10 off. I don't think he's quite going to get there, Jenny, where he wants to, which is up at gate 21, and it's 2 gates away. He's too far back. He's got his NEOM hyperdrive to use. Let's watch out for when he does that. There we go. He's using it now. The Apt Cupra car trying to close down that gap towards Loeb. Remember, top 2 go 3, third. They are out of the competition for the weekend. You can see Faust using his as well. A little bit out of line for the Apt Cupra car at that moment. Yeah, Alatia used all the road and a little bit more. Jutta Kleinschmidt, bottom right of your corner. You can see she's just chewing her lips and just feeling a bit nervous. She wants to make it through to the final. And at the minute, oh, look at
fast. Full send in the McLarens. He comes through gate number 21, trying so hard to keep up.
Through the washboard section, you can see Loeb pushing now that gap. 4 seconds, and Alatia is gunning.
There's a little bit of me that thinks Alatia could wind it in now, Jenny. They've got 10 seconds over the McLaren. You know, don't chuck it off the road. Look how hard he's trying in the background. I'm loving Alatia's attack on this one, but you've got a place in the final.
You certainly have. So Sebastian Loeb comes down to take the finish, being chased down by the Abt Cupra car of Alatia, but it is Loeb and Gutierrez, X44, who go fastest, and they win semi-final 2. Abt Cupra coming in 4 seconds behind, closing down the gap absolutely brilliantly. That was some drive from Alatia. And then Tanner Faust in that NEOM McLaren, bringing it home in 3rd place. They will take no more running this weekend, but a good showing. Basically, they've had to recover that car and rebuild it. Good job.
So yeah, they lost. NEOM McLaren seemed to lose time in the switch, didn't they, Jenny? They came in, Emma almost stopped at the board on the way in, and that put maybe a couple of seconds between them. And then on the launch on the exit, I don't know what happened through that first section, but you clocked the times, didn't you? And it was a big gap straight away. How impressive was Alatia? Now, Loeb can manage that gap, but yeah, excited for the final.
Yeah, it sets up a beautiful final, doesn't it? And still 1 place to come through for the crazy race. But let's have a look at those times. So 19.45 seconds down. It was Gilmore and Faust for NEOM McLaren. Then the Abt Cupra XC team, just 4 seconds away from Gutierrez and Loeb and X44, the winners. Good stuff from that really nice race out there. Fair, decent, but exciting. So let's go down to the Vodafone Business Command Centre. Jutta Kleinschmidt is watching on. And Jutta, that was such a great performance from both of you. Exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was a very close race, like you can see. And it was not easy for us. We have to start on the 3rd position. We couldn't choose. But luckily I made it in the 2nd position, which was super important. After I had some trouble to keep the car straight, like you saw on the bumps. Whoa. And Emma was in my neck. She passed me once, I passed her back. So yeah, it was a very, very nice fight. And Nasser did a great 2nd lap.
Yeah, great racing between you two. And looking forward to the final now. You guys have had great votes in grid play. You might get a really good slot if you're lucky.
Yeah, I think that is very good for us, that we have all these fans, so thank you for that. Super important because we can have the first choice now on the grid play, and that is definitely an advantage.
Okay, thank you very much to Jutta going through to the final. Breaking news though, let's go down to Laura Winter and find out what's going on.
Well, Seb, I think I was debating whether you were trying to get it home safe and clean or whether perhaps there was an issue with the car. And I think I've just heard there was an issue with the car. Can you tell us what it was and whether it will be fixed for the final?
I hope so. No, but Christina did a great start. She was leading for nearly 10 seconds. So I took the car. I was still 7 ahead. But Christina said we have no power. And when I took the car, effective, I didn't have power. I have power, but less than we should have. We don't know at the moment what it is really, but the car was still drivable, so I tried to drive it, to push as I can with the car I had and to manage the gap. So we still won the semi-final. Getting in the final, that's the most important. I think the team will solve it.
Yeah, congratulations for making the final. You got it home safely, but how intense was that, knowing that Nasser Alatia was chasing so hard?
Yes, but we need to finish in the 2 first. So if he was coming very close, okay, I could accept because I know that I have to finish 1st or 2nd. So, but winning is still better, so I did it.
You did do it. Well done. Congratulations. We'll see you in the final. Hopefully the car will be fixed. Thanks, Seb.
So this is the start of semi-final 2, and you can just see X44 coming together, but politely with the McLaren, and then really decent job from Jutta Kleinschmidt. Slides herself safely into position 2.
Yeah, she had a huge moment afterwards. That's what she was saying to us a moment ago in the command centre, had trouble over the bumps. And then we know, of course, later on in the lap, they passed each other once and then back again. It's great to see them both getting stuck in. This was Gilmore on the handbrake, getting as close as she could. Kleinschmidt again, wild, wasn't he? I think Kleinschmidt was under a fair bit of pressure and yeah, it did well.
She made the car very wide, didn't she, in literal terms as well as metaphorical. So you can see X44 going through. Didn't seem to be a huge issue with pace at this point, but clearly Loeb saying that later on in the lap they started to have a loss of power, and that affected how challenging he could be against Alatir. This is a point where they do a little bit of the kind of to me to you.
Yeah, Gilmore did brilliantly. So she saw that Kleinschmidt went down the outside line, so she's gone late on the brakes and forced the car deep at the apex, but unfortunately she's run too deep, and then Kleinschmidt's able to get back up the inside. So classic racing move. You know, good on Gilmore for trying it, and well done on Kleinschmidt for coming back at it.
So Alatir, the hunt began for him as he was trying to catch up with Seb Loeb and what was a slightly stricken X44 car through the puddle there, and it was 4 seconds in the end, that gap. He did a really good job using that ANOA hyperdrive as an attacking an offence. And just look at them come around here. Turn 21, the wide line, carrying the speed in. I think Alatir lost a little bit of time there going through the rough.
Yeah, he went super wide, didn't he? This was the finish line. I mean, great job by Loeb. He said it himself, didn't he? Look, I knew if we're in the top two, it didn't matter. I was managing the gap. But likewise, Alatir really was trying very hard to close him down. Fantastic stuff, and hopefully X44 will get that car fully fettled, ready for the final later on today.
Oof, breathless racing today. There's that McLaren just coming towards the line for Faust and taking the 3rd spot. So out for this weekend, unfortunately. Just a reminder, we are here in Racing for Reason. You see that little knife, fork and spoon? That is because everybody out on the team takes their own bowl. So they have to wash it up, get it ready, and that saves 250,000 individual items going to landfill.
And for Season 2, the Continental tyres have been redesigned to include sustainable materials like silica from rice husk ash, alongside polyester yarn made from recycled PET bottles. So there are about 60 bottles in each of the tyres. I have to say, honestly, that blows my mind. That's some clever stuff there. I'm really not as clever as the people who are making tyres out of all those recycled materials. So lots of efforts going in from the whole paddock. Great to see.
Don't do yourself down, by the way. You're a clever man.
Thanks, mate.
So let's have a look then at the results from semi-final 2. So in 3rd spot, you've already seen it was the NEOM McLaren. Then Apt Cupra and X44 getting themselves a place in the final alongside RXR and Acciona Sainz. Tasty stuff awaits us, and one more spot up for grabs. It'll be Andretti United versus JBXE versus Excite versus Veloce, and that will be one space for the crazy race.
Okay, on board. This is what Gutierrez, I think, off the line to watch from McLaren appearing in behind her from the right-hand side. There it is. And then on your left-hand side of the screen is the onboard from Emma Gilmore looking forward. So Gilmore kind of had to, well, one of them had to give it up, but Gilmore was slightly further back, so it was the right way, Jenny. You can't just drive into each other. The stewards will get involved then. But unfortunately for Gilmore, Kleinschmidt had committed to that narrow road on the right. Look how sideways Kleinschmidt was over the bumps, but just nowhere for Emma to respond and come past.
Yeah, lovely onboard footage from the X44 car. You can see that day glow yellow, so we know it's them. And that merge working pretty well, actually, for them. So good stuff from the 2nd race. What's the crazy race got for us?
One chance, one shot. That's right, it's time for the crazy race. JBXE, Veloce, Excite and Genesis Andretti United are all in that one, and I'm joined by Timo Scheider now of Excite after a brilliant round 2 for you guys on the podium, of course. And then quali yesterday, contact with Timmy Hansen. Stewart decision is a 30-second penalty for you. What's your reaction?
Well, I still think that's way too much. From my point of view, it was a race incident. We both went straight, we had contact. Unfortunately, Timmy lost the wheel. Of course, that's not meant to be like this, but in the end, we had contact, and I was sorry for that, but I was just on his side, and I backed off right there at the first kink. And he lost it right after, so and I got the penalty, but I guess right after what we have seen with Johan and Carlos and all those things, the stewards are super sensible at the moment. and general behavior should be like back off if there's any risk of contact. So I think this is what they expect, but we have one go now in the crazy race, and I tell you, I will go all in anyway.
I was going to ask you, this is proper knockout stuff now. One chance in the crazy race. What is the mindset going in?
Well, I think, like we all know, there's just one car going through to the final, and we have no other option than sending it. If there's contact, but we will, of course, try to play it fair. Of course, 100%, that's the rule. We will follow that, but we will race hard, 100%.
You've been up at the grid as well this morning. What's the thoughts on the grid starting position?
Well, we've lined up third on the line, and there are two options basically when you're third. You can go right to the right lane or left lane. Let's see what the outcome will be, but we have a plan for it, so you will see later.
Oh, keeping his cards close to his chest. Timo Scheider, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it. I'll let Timo head back to the garage, and I'm going to head to get Timmy Hansen's side of things for Genesis Andretti United, of course. The broken car meant they couldn't contest qualifying 2. Pretty gutted to see for both Katie and Timmy. We'll head into their garage now to find Timmy Hansen. I'll sneak round here. Timmy, sorry about qualifying yesterday. A tough one to take. The thoughts on the penalty for Timo Scheider from you?
I've known Timo for a long time, and I know he's not a dirty racer, but it was an unfortunate incident, and that did end our race. So, in that way, I do think it was correct, the penalty. No hard feelings against Timo personally, though. I know how it is out there, and we're right on the edge of everything. But yeah, very unfortunate, and it did end our race. So that's why we're sitting in the crazy race now. We were looking, hoping for much better, but anyway, this is the position, and we still have every chance to win the race. Like, remembering the first race here in Sardinia, Ganassi came through the crazy race, didn't they? So still every chance to win today.
There really is. Just one word on the start, how ferocious that will be contested for Katie.
Yeah, it is difficult here because it's so different to any other racetrack or any other race series that we do, because it splits up directly. And I think we got a good start plan. We got a good car in the start, so it will be Katie doing it, and I've got very good faith in her. She seems very confident and relaxed this morning, so I think we got a good package together. Hopefully now, we have a bit of luck on our side, and we can win this race.
We'll see what happens. It's proper knockout stuff, isn't it? Thank you very much, Timmy. Best of luck to Genesis Andretti United. Well, this one's going to be wild, isn't it? It's the crazy race.
We like it wild. That's absolutely fine. So this is how it stacks up. You can see RXR going through, Axionia Science, X44 and Apt, all a place in the final. But which of these 4 fabulous teams will join them? Only one goes through from the crazy race, and that entry list is something to wonder at. It's great.
Here's a closer look. Left-hand side, Hansen and Munnings for Genesis Andretti United. Then you got Kevin Hansen, younger brother of Timmy, and Heda Hozas, rookie at this event, JBXC. Scheider and Molinaro for Excite Energy Racing, and Woolridge and Christine GZ for Veloce.
Fair to say, Christine GZ and Veloce doing an amazing job to get back to competing. The car had to be totally rebuilt after Saudi Arabia, and a very heavy impact for GZ, which meant she's had to do hours of physio recovery to just get her ankle sorted. And they're doing a great job out there, but they are struggling this weekend. And, we wish her the very best with recovery. It's come early, hasn't it, this race for her?
She had to be fully rebuilt as well, but we know they've got the pace. Lance needs to get out there and try to get the whole shot. He really does need to try and lead this and come back, give GZ the lead, and then she can keep the door shut. If she can do that to get through to the final, your confidence will go up by miles, and that confidence brings speed. So, good luck to Veloce. Heda Hozas, another one for me, Jenny. She really needs to get there first. She's not quite as experienced as the other drivers. Yesterday, she took a sector to warm up. Once she'd done that first sector, she was flying again. But you can't take a sector to warm up when you've got drivers like this alongside you. It's got to be full send from the line.
Katie Munnings, the most experienced of our drivers out there in the Andretti United car. She'll be alongside Hozas and JBXC and Excite Energy's Tamara Molinaro, and both of them coming in very newly to this championship. So let's see what they can do. Off the start, 4 cars will take it. This is the Vodafone Business Command Centre.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. The crazy race is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
So they're preparing to race. You can see there Christine Gysi. She broke her ankle, rebuilding it. Still a little bit of a hobble when she goes out into the switch zone, but she's just getting her helmet on now. As is Timo Scheider.
1 minute.
1 minute to a race start, who said that he was going to go aggressive.
Yeah, I love that. Timo basically was, well, look, I got a penalty. And Timmy was like, look, he's not dirty. He got a penalty. We're pushing hard. And Timo's like, I'm just going to go out there and do the same again. I understand they've said you need to be aware of each other. You need to respect each other. Of course, they know that. They all know the risks and they all show each other some respect, but they also all want to win.
And 4 cars in this one. In the semi-finals we've seen already, it's been 3 cars. So that's going to make a big difference. 30 seconds away from the race start here in Sardinia for the second part of the NEOM Island X Prix.
Here we go. Crazy race coming up. 1 car goes through from this. Molinaro reaches down for the settings on the dash for the Excite. She's over on the right-hand side. Will 2 cars go off to the right, or will we see 3 head off to the left? Lance Woolridge for Veloce wants to get a great start down that outside lane if he can. But watch for Munnings on the inside with Hedda Hodas as well. So Munnings has got a great start for Genesis Andretti United. Molinaro moves across with that side to P3. Hozas holds P2. Now what's absolutely key is Woolridge, left-hand side of your screen. He's going to push so hard in that Veloce. Katie Munnings has got to beat him there. Hozas goes off the track to the right-hand side. Behind her, still looking at Woolridge, though, coming in, going to get there just alongside. Contact. Woolridge over the inside line, takes that camera out again, but somehow holds on to P2. So contact avoided. Munnings leads for Andretti United, and in P2, it's Woolridge for Veloce.
Wow, Woolridge did a great job. He has such quick reactions. We've seen that demonstrated in Sardinia already. But look, oh, she's gone wide. So Katie Munnings goes a little bit on the wide line, but manages to get it back just ahead of Woolridge. Woolridge is trying to hunt down, but look at Hozas closing that gap. She has woken up bright and early today, and she is in this battle as well. Molinaro just slipping off the back for the Excite Energy Racing team.
Yeah, brilliant job by Hedda Hozas. You know, think about her experience compared to the others, and here she is on the back of a 3-car bundle. She's going to come under some pressure potentially from Molinaro as well. Woolridge has got to find a way past Munnings, but Munnings is going to make that Odyssey 21 as wide as she can. Woolridge, though, he's been through the undergrowth once, and he won't mind going through it again. It was great awareness from him, amazing awareness to avoid the collision, and I think there'll be some teams in the paddock looking at that going, you know what? There's a bit of a line there. Maybe that merge is wider than we thought.
Well, he's made it a little bit wider than we thought, doesn't it? The only team to select the male taking part in this first, so that was a tactic right from the outset that they've chosen. Means Gysi will start the final if they get a place in it. They are trying to gun down. They have to finish first if they're going to get through the crazy race and into the finals. Only 1 car through.
Katie doing a great job of keeping the door shut here. She looks in her mirror to the left-hand side, but the window's covered in mud. She won't be able to see if Woolridge is there or not. Neither of them uses the hyperdriver. Might have thought Woolridge would have a crack there, but as he's come out the water splash, he's obviously looked and gone, I'm not going to gain that time. Let's not waste it. We all know where they're looking to use it now, Jenny.
Into waypoint 21 for sure. Unless we're totally wrong and they do something totally different, but that's where we would certainly expect it. Look at Woolridge, just trying to close the gap. Hozas slips out to almost 5 seconds behind this lead too. Look, he's going to the inside. Can he get through? No, he can't. Once again, Katie slams the door shut. This is great onboard footage. You can just see the pressure that Andretti United car is coming under from Veloce.
Absolutely fantastic through there. The bumps, you can see the cars reacting to them half a second apart, which is all that the gap is. It really is close. Look, 0.29 is what it is between them. Look at Woolridge, he's using the undergrowth on both sides of the road just to try and edge a little bit back, but there aren't that many places. It's this run to 21. I'm keen to see what Katie does. I think she'll take the wide line for the exit speed, but maybe not, because if she nails it onto the apex, Jenny, if she holds it on the apex on the inside, doesn't matter if Woolridge takes the wide line or not. Let's see.
Right, they come up to the ruins. The split is on. Veloce goes inside, and Andretti United go outside. Who's going to win out of this lot? Oh, and it's Andretti United. Katie Munnings keeps that car ahead. She did an excellent job. Woolridge is closing the gap, though. Remember, another lap to come. Woolridge is looking for any way past that he can get it, and he can't get it done. A little bit of over-rotation there for Veloce.
Great commitment from Katie Munnings to carry the speed through there, knowing the car was inside her. And, of course, Woolridge has to brake a little more because he's got that tight line, but Katie did what she needed to as Woolridge did something inside. Contact, he spins and takes out a flag. Hedda Hozas coming through. Woolridge spinning the Veloce round. Can he get back in P2 or not? Where's Hozas? Where's Hozas? Come on!
Woolridge is just absolutely driven through the hoardings. He's got the waypoint down, but he needs to get going, so they're just having to battle for it. This is out in the front. It's the Genesis Andretti United, Katie Munnings. But what's going on behind them? We need to see what that Veloce car is doing. So Munnings takes the finish line, but goes into the switch zone. So down to 30. There is the Veloce car. He managed to get it going. He'll get penalised for it. But look at Hossas just closing up that gap. That is fabulous driving from Hossas. She's really closed the gap down, but Woolridge managed to get back on.
I think Excite are gone, Jenny. Their flag was at a standstill out on the track. I think Excite are gone. Woolridge did do brilliantly to get back on in front of JBXE. But Excite Energy now showing +40, so Molinaro and Scheider, they were showing +9, but our map, the flag, they're moving again, they are moving again, so that could have been in the carnage that was between the Veloce and the JBXE at the rejoin.
Potentially. We'll have to go back and find out exactly what happened with Woolridge. He took some risks there to get back on track. The waypoint definitely missed, dropped flag, so there will be penalties. So let's see what Christine GZ can do when she gets into that car. The switch zone, vitally important, not to drop too much time. You can see JBXE there doing a really good job with Hansen getting in from Hossas.
I don't know what I feel about dropped flags in the case of an incident. Yeah, he's had contact, he's spun round. It's not like he's hit it on purpose. He definitely hasn't gained an advantage at all. He's had to do a big loop to rejoin. I get it, but on this occasion, it's not a penalty for me. But you know, it may just be if you hit a flag tough, it doesn't matter if you're rolling upside down, you get the penalty.
So incident involving car 23 and 5, that's Andretti United and Veloce, will be investigated. I mean, I can't
There's
see
nothing
it,
to investigate there. Of course, they have to investigate it. Yeah, he tried to pass, it didn't work out. That's
Great racing.
There you go, investigation done. Move on. So Hansen comes out the...
you should be a steward.
I might have a crack at it one time. We're about to talk about it so many times over the years. So his is Excite. So, OK, we're on board with Excite. This is where Molinaro had a problem. So in front of her, Woolridge has just rejoined. We think, no, this is the point where Woolridge had gone round. So she's coming into dust. Look at the dust from Woolridge. Can't see where she's going at all. Well, no wonder, is it? I mean, we were dead right. So basically that happened in the background after Woolridge had rejoined.
Racing gets back underway. So it's Hansen, GZ versus Hansen versus Timo Scheider. You can see that Hansen is trying to close down GZ. He knows that this is an opportunity for him to get past pretty quickly. I think that Veloce car, unfortunately, under the hands of GZ at the moment, lacking in confidence, she said, but she's giving it a go. She's on the inside now. She's trying to hold line. Hansen on the outside. 2 into 1. Oh my word, what is going to happen here? Look at them going side by side. Hansen uses that NEOM hyperdrive just to get an advantage, pulls away from GZ. Well done to GZ for holding that for so long. Brilliant job from her.
Yeah, this would be a big confidence builder for her, won't it? It's a shame Woolridge wasn't right there on the back, but also for GZ to have had to go with Timmy Hansen would be hard work.
Hansen is absolutely going for it. This is brilliant. This is brother versus brother. Kevin chasing down Timmy in that JBXE versus the Genesis Andretti United. One place. That is all there is to get to the final. They have to win this or they are out of the weekend's running.
I would love to see Kevin get to the back of Timmy because, you know, these two, everyone, yeah, they're brothers, yes, they're best mates, all the rest of it. I have seen them get into each other big time in the same teams. Driving for Peugeot in the World Rallycross Championship, they're in each other's doors, smashing bits off the cars they know their parents' team was going to be re-prepping later that day. If Kevin can get there, he will have a go, but he's got to get there. He's taken about a second off Timmy in the last sector, but Timmy can manage that gap from the front as well.
Yeah, remember hyperdrive also. Hansen has used that. I should say Kevin now because Hansen and Hansen is a ridiculous thing to say. So Kevin has used his hyperdrive already, but Timmy has not. Oh, no, he's out of shape and he's managed to hit into the waypoint. He's got loose there. He's turning the car around. He hit the waypoint, unfortunately for him, but I think that has given it up. And you can just see GZ now can sniff it. She can maybe get back on this, but a mistake from Kevin. Car goes off and wide, and I think that's left the way for Timmy to go and win this and get through to the final.
I'm gutted for Kevin because if you were watching the split times, it was coming down. You could see from the attitude in the car, he flicked it beautifully through the right-hander, but where the track is just a little bit wetter, there wasn't quite enough rear traction. He went round. The other handed it really here to Genesis Andretti United on a plate, haven't they? But well, you want to see him try. I'd rather see someone try and fail. Same goes for Woolridge. Get on it. You know, we want to see great action. No, I agree with Timo Scheider. Get stuck in.
Look, Hansen's still going for that in the JBXE. You can see GZ behind, just trying to close down for Veloce Racing. This is the point. Look, you can just see Timmy Hansen coming across in the Genesis Andretti United. I think they felt aggrieved before that they weren't in with a shot. Well, now they are.
They are. This is very reminiscent of round 2, 3 days ago, where Chip Ganassi Racing scored 0 points in the Hummer EV in qualifying, went on to win the event. So Andretti United had rough luck yesterday. It was written on the faces of Timmy and on Katie. Look at Katie, look how nervous she is in the command centre. And yeah, brilliant job by them. Not far to go now, and they're into the final. They've got a shot at the big trophy.
Yeah, brilliant recovery drive from this team. They've worked hard on that car all weekend. They've had to. They had a broken wheel last time out and couldn't finish the race. Limped at home but got lapped. And now redemption for them as they come through towards the finishing line. It's Genesis, Andretti United, Timmy Hansen at the wheel, Katie Munnings in the command centre. And they are through to the final. It was a great battle between the brothers. Wasn't to be, unfortunately, for Kevin, but they have done it. They have won their place in the final.
Oh, Kevin Hansen tried so hard, didn't he? I know we'll see another look at it. He was pushing so hard, Jenny. There was nothing I like more than seeing those two go at it. I'm desperate for Timmy and Kevin to be in different teams in rallycross here to see how stuck in they'll get. But he would have had a crack there. Obviously, different teams here, him with JBXE, that he would have gone for it. And he really chased him hard, but not enough. GZ brings it home. For Loche, they'll have learnt a lot this weekend, I'm sure. Hopefully some confidence for GZ moving forward. And, of course, she's got a little break now as well to get that foot even healthier and more ready to go for next time. Excite Energy team not finishing, unfortunately, for them. Molinaro and Scheider having issues with that car. Obviously, it was a rough ride for them. They've stopped out in Sector 4. So it wasn't to be for them, but great learning over the course of this weekend. Remember, a new pairing coming into Sardinia. Look at the difference in emotions. GZ a little bit disappointed, and you look at Timmy Hansen, he's all smiles. Katie Munnings can chill out a little bit now in the command centre. Wow, that was great stuff. And I tell you what, she looks on nervously. Let's catch up with Katie Munnings. Katie, that looked like it was a tough watch for you. Brilliant drive by both of you. How you feeling? Don't think she can hear us actually at the moment. Hi Katie, hello, hopefully you can hear us. Great drive by both of you. You really showed what you can do at a place in the final. How nervous were you?
Do you know what? I think that, you know, the first merge on this track is absolutely insane because it's hard to judge the speed of the other cars coming. We actually broke something on the rear when Lance hit from behind on there, so I was super lucky that it obviously wasn't as severe as before in the last incident and in the last semi-final, and we were able to bring it in. And then obviously Timmy looked like he was going to have a bit of a fight with his brother, but in the end he just had to bring it home. So yeah, we're super lucky this time that we could still drive the car, but yeah, thanks so much to the team. They've worked so hard. We've had the pace and we really deserve to be in the final. Oh, I can't wait to see how you get on in the final, Katie. Up at gate 21, we all knew that was where Lance was going to have a go. Did you know he'd gone inside line and you were well committed through that long left-hander? Yeah, as you'd say, Coley, I just had to send it. Yeah, it was absolutely one of those moments where I could see him on the inside and I just tried to close the gap but carry the speed, and to be honest I thought he'd pull it off, so then I was just on my mirrors defending the whole lap, and yeah, it's a pretty nice feeling when you make it stick.
It looks really impressive. Bit of damage to the car as we're seeing right now, Katie. And you said it was lucky that you managed to put it home. It has been an aggressive course for all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a bit of wheel-on-wheel contact in the first race, which obviously put us out at the semi-final yesterday. It was the same thing here. I don't think it was as severe, but something on the rear, maybe the same issue. And so, yeah, the car didn't feel right the whole lap, but yeah, it took the bumps well. It's a testament to how strong they're built now.
Good job. Thanks, Katie. It was a pleasure to watch, and we wish you the best of luck in the final, which I think is going to be feisty.
Let's go, baby.
Love it. Katie Munnings said, let's go, baby. Let's have a look at the results then. So in fourth place, Molinaro and Scheider struggling out there in that Excite Energy racing car. No fault of their own. No, P3 for Woolridge and GZ. Woolridge had a spin, didn't he, chasing down in front Katie Munnings. And then, of course, Kevin Hansen had a spin chasing down Timmy Hansen out front. So Andretti United made everybody else do the work, and it will be them who comes through to the final. Yep, really impressive from them. Can't wait for this final. We have a great lineup for you. It's going to be brilliant. RXR, Science, Apt, X44 and Andretti United. OK, now we're going to take a look back at what this is highlights. We need about 20 minutes because there a lot was happening in that. Here's Katie. Watch on the right for Lance Woolridge. Here he comes. Here's the merge. She's coming up towards it. This next corner here. He'll be on the right. She's about to go left over this crest. Here comes Woolridge. Watch for it. Watch for it.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Woolridge, he literally went straight through the undergrowth on the right. So the merge is wider than we thought, Jenny, but only if you mow the lawn.
Amazing, isn't it? JBXE on the hunt down, and this is where it just lost control, slammed into the hedge, unfortunately for him, but managed to get the car back up and running. But that was the moment it slipped away for JBXE, unfortunately.
Yeah, rear end got away from him, didn't it, on the gas just on the exit. Kevin was driving brilliantly, but he couldn't quite get there. So Laura is down with the Hansons, so let's go and have a catch-up with her now in the paddock.
Oh, Kevin, I can see how disappointed you are. And we've got your brother Timmy just alongside you as well. Obviously mixed fortunes for the both of you. You were pushing very hard to get to him, weren't you? Perhaps a bit too hard?
Well, yeah, I had a really good opening. I had to pass Christine in the beginning, and I think that move was pretty nice, so I had to waste my hyper there also to make sure I was ahead. Then it was a really good run. I think we had some damage on the left rear after she drove into us on the straight, but I mean, after that I was pushing crazy hard because I could hear I was catching Tim in the front, so I tried my best, and in the end I just got caught out with this long steering range that we have on the wheel. I caught the slide, but then I couldn't get back enough, so it's a shame. But I mean, if someone should go through from the semi or the crazy and not me, it should be Timmy and Katie. So I mean, I'm very disappointed. First time I missed the final when I'm fresh and fit to race, but I will be cheering on for these guys in the final.
Yeah, it was a great race from you guys. Were you aware he was catching you? You pulled a bit of a face when he said that.
Yeah, I know, I was very much aware. So pulling out of the switch zone, I heard we had a decent gap to Veloce, but then just a few corners later, I heard it was Kevin behind. And I was actually nursing a damage from that first corner contact between Katie and Lance. Pulling out of the switch zone, I was like, oh my God, how is this gonna make it all the way through? So, but yeah, and then when Kevin came behind, kind of had to judge, you know, speed versus safety, and I was trying to push on as hard as I could, but then suddenly, then Kevin was, 12
seconds behind.
12 seconds behind, yeah. But I know how it feels because it sucks to miss the final, and I feel for my brother here and the team. But we have missed the final twice this year, and finally now I think we really much deserve to be in the final, and I'm super happy that you know, my team has been working great, and I'm proud of the guys that have done the job. Now we've got to pick the damage from the crazy race and prepare for the final finally.
Can I get one word from you on Katie Munnings and that epic first lap? The defence against Lance, she made that car as wide as she could. It was brilliant to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely perfect. I mean, what a drive she made. And she has come from a rally background. Now she started to do some rallycross Extreme E, and you know, that drive was just a hero drive. So yeah, she did a perfect run, got the start and gave me the car in the lead. So really, she did a big part of the job, and super thankful to her. She's really performing at the top this weekend.
Great stuff. I'll let you go and see Katie. She's done fewer laps than everyone else as well this weekend, so that's worth noting. Thanks to you both. Commiserations, Kevin. Well done, Timmy.
Good job from the Hanson brothers there.
Yeah, it would have been an epic battle if he'd got there, but unfortunately he couldn't. So semi-finals in the crazy race are done. Christophersen, Arlen Kolinski, Sainz and Sands for RXR, and Acciona Sainz go through. Loba Gutierrez for X44, Alatia and Kleinschmidt for App Cupra, and finally Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings with a brilliant battle in the crazy race for Genesis Andretti United.
That's going to be some start. Just look at the names who will take the start. Alatia, Hansen, Loeb, Sainz, Christophersen. My word, five going off.
You heard what Timo Scheider said as well. They've told us we need to behave, but, you know, we all want to win, basically. So you can tell them as much as you like, but now they've all seen as well the Woolridge line, as we're going to call it. I reckon it's on, Jenny.
App Cupra might have a little advantage as well. Look, 30% of grid play votes go to them, so they'll get to potentially pick their grid slot first, which could be all important.
I think so too, and I'm looking at the people that can donate votes, the ones who haven't made it, and I don't think there's enough there. So they're going to get first pick, and but RXR are up there too. Maybe they'll be in that same left-hand side of the grid. It seems to be the favoured side if you can get there, but we'll find out.
It's funny, I was just about to ask you, which grid slot would you choose if you were choosing first?
It's P2, I think, on the grid later will be the one that goes first of all. You don't want far left or right of those three. You want to be in the middle. I think they'll hyperdrive it and make the other slot in behind them, but let's see.
All five in our hyperdrive off the start. You know it. This is the Genesis Andretti United team. I love listening to them.
Yeah,
brilliant. Everybody's learning so much in this championship. There's so much to be gained from the other half of your team.
Keeping the door shut. This is what we know Kristoffersen's been doing brilliantly with Arlen Kotlinski, but Munnings is also getting that from Hansen. She's done a fantastic job this weekend.
I wonder if they could win their first final this season. That's an important factor for them. It's going to be great, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, they got a win last year, didn't they? I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, they did. It was Greenland,
it was round 3. It was round 3. And Genesis Andretti United get a win in round 3 this time.
Well, their car number's 23, so maybe 3 is one of their lucky numbers. Who knows? But it's everybody hunting down this team. Rosberg X Racing are there. They have 50 points in the championship, but people are circling, closing in on them. 5 cars into the final. We will see which one of them comes out victorious. They're all hunting down Rosberg X Racing. Only one of them can win.
Type of drive.